A rare piece of American history is headed for the auction block. Sotheby's auctioning off a copy of the U.S. Constitution on Thursday, and a group of crypto investors won in. The organization, called Constitution DAO, is raising money using a digital crypto wallet in hopes of securing the winning bid. So far, they've raised more than 800,000 Ether, which is roughly the equivalent of $3.7 million. Joining us is Constitution DAO's Alice Ma. We're also joined by Packy McCormick of the Not Boring newsletter. He's also a contributor of the project. So, Packy, I'm going to start with you. Why in the world do a bunch of crypto investors want to get together and own the Constitution? And what are they going to do with it?
Sure. So, I mean, I think it's an obvious, important historical document for anybody who lives in the U.S., has immigrated to the U.S., appreciates U.S. democracy, or lives in a democracy around the world. This is one of 11 existing copies of that foundational text. And for the first time in 33 years, it's going up for auction at Sotheby's this Thursday night. So I think the reason that this group wants to buy the Constitution is because it's a document that represents, I think, a lot of the same things that the Web3 ethos shares with the United States, which is a belief in democracy, a belief in shared ownership, a belief in governance, kind of and by and for the people. And so we're organizing a DAO in order to pool funds in order to buy this document and bid on it at the auction.
Alice, this is very interesting to me. I find it quite fascinating. If you are able to secure the winning bid with this consortium of crypto bidders, what happens to it? Where does it go? Who actually owns it? How would you make decisions as a group?
So it will be owned by the DAO, which means that everyone who buys in, they get a portion of the governance token of the DAO, and then they can then use that token to vote on where the Constitution should actually be custodied. We are lining up a list of museums that we want to work with, and are going to let the community actually decide, like, where should it live, like which museum do we want to choose, and all of that is, well, I'm not going to go into the legal details of the entity, but we have that figured out as well.
Packy, happy Monday, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Listen, if this thing is successful, happy Monday. If you are successful as this Constitution DAO, okay, and you do buy this thing, and you do go by the governance of the DAO, and this thing is, you know, it's a philanthropic endeavor, how do you see this as an example of disrupting all of these things that you write about on Not Boring every week about Web3? What is the immediate application that you would see of the companies that we talk about every night on Fast Money? You know what I mean? Where's the disruption going to happen next?
Yeah, so honestly, I think that the disruption kind of happens a little bit slowly. I think what's important about this is I've gotten messages throughout the day from people saying, you've written about Web3, you've written thousands and thousands and thousands of words about this, and I didn't get it when it was NFTs or purely digital items, but seeing a group come together in 3 days and pool funds to be able to buy this historical artifact, and then ideally govern it together, make decisions on it together, form a DAO around it. I think it just shows people what's possible. And so it's no longer just digital objects, although I think that's a really, really important piece. But a DAO could pool funds and, you know, theoretically one day buy a company, or certainly buy real estate and different types of assets. And so I think, you know, the term DAO might make it sound a little bit scarier or more futuristic than it is. It's really a group of people coming together around a shared mission, kind of orchestrated and governed by tokens. And it looks an awful lot like, you know, a digital version of an LLC.
So Alice, I have a two-part question. Does Sotheby's accept Ether if you would be the winning bidder? And if you're not the winning bidder, what happens to all of the value of the Ether that you've collected so far?
I don't want to speak completely on Sotheby's behalf, but our plan is to transfer everything to USD before paying their invoice. So it's going to be paid in USD. Sorry, could you repeat the second question?
And then the second question is, if the group does not end up being the winner, what happens to the money that's already been collected? Money, Ether, USD, in whatever form it takes at that point.
Yeah, so we have set up like a smart contract setup, which basically guarantees that people can withdraw their funds from the contract if they so choose. They just give up their tokens. So basically everyone can get a refund.
This is very fascinating. Packy and Alice, thank you for joining us. We'll be following along to see what happens on Thursday. Let's trade it. Tim, I'm going to let you jump in here.
Well, first of all, certainly Ether and what this means in terms of people thinking about buying stuff, not in Bitcoin, but in Ether. I mean, we've been hearing about this in NFT land for months and months, and how it's, the commercial backbone of, at least off of this platform, is very significant here. Packy talked a little bit about kind of the governance dynamics and the significance of this moment in time and the DAO. It sounds to me a lot like how a digital stock market could work too, using the blockchain. And so just very, very interesting. And I think we might be seeing the future here.
Guy, I find this fascinating because, as the point was made, it is a physical item. It is an actual piece of history. It is the Constitution. It's not a digital piece of art like an NFT. Does that somehow make all of this a little bit more real, a little bit more tangible to people that weren't before really buying into the cryptocurrency market?
Absolutely. I think that's exactly the point, Courtney. I'm glad you brought it up, because if in fact they do emerge victorious, or whatever word you want to use, if they were to win, this will be news. This will be evening news stuff. They'll lead with this, or it'll be one of the top stories on the 6 o'clock news. And I think people will then say, wait a second, what's going on here? So I think you make a great point. This is one of those things where people will take notice, and it gives the next tailwind to a space that probably doesn't need a lot of tailwinds, but it's about to get another one.
Well, good thing we're bringing it to everybody here first. So they already have the news. They don't have to wait for the other news programs to catch up.